And
boom, got her.
I was going fast and he stopped randomly and I almost rear-ended him. The same
What a
dude.
jerk.
The same dude.
Yo, I need your homework out. Let's get ready for class. Log into your laptop.
It's my birthday.
I forgot. It's Kelsey's birthday, y'all. We're not doing anything in class. Mr. Lippman and I did already talk about it. We're going to watch Falcon and Winter Soldier the whole class period.
Guess what? I bought cookies yesterday, but I forgot them at home. So I'm bringing them tomorrow.
I won't be here tomorrow.
Good, even better.
Wow.
Yeah,
Hashtag rude.
I'm not going to be here tonight.
Wait, are we going to have a sub?
That's true. Huh?
We're going to have a sub.
And Mr. Lippman.
There's still a sub. Nah, they know what they're doing.
I'm pretty sure he's going to be fine. Alright, come on, let's log into our laptops. Let's get our homework out.
Last time we had to solve, they gave us all the homework answers.
What the world? What the world?
How'd you get 10/2?
Oh my god.
Well, first off, I didn't get over anything.
So
Oh, crap.
Look,
Oh,
check
that
your
is
slope
not...
again. And is that an inequality?
Oh.
Coral, it's my
Shading here.
birthday.
I know I said happy birthday. I remember my picture.
You said
Wait,
it
it's your
before.
birthday?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it really? I had no
You
idea.
said it before my own boyfriend did.
She told us yesterday? Man, I missed that.
She's told us every day for the past 2 weeks.
Come on, let's get our homework out.
Yeah,
Y'all, log into our laptop, get our homework out.
I'm
Thank you,
sick.
sir.
You wish.
I did it, but I messed it up because I didn't understand.
oh,
What
that's
did you
what
do?
I'm talking about.
Because I thought it was saying here, the Steve decided to put the C beside it so I'd make it think.
That's what they're talking about, run with run.
But I did.
Sir, rise.
Right. No, I'm talking about this foot. I put like that, and that's wrong. Like, look, but I had the nigga too. I put it in the wrong spot. I didn't put it look like
I know.
Cause I know how to do it.
Do you?
Yes, I can explain to her how I got it, but I just didn't put it in the right form.
Do you?
Yeah. Oh.
And this too, right?
Where's your other homework?
What's the other homework? We had other homework too.
Yes, sir.
I thought you just had to do this and these two. Man, that page is not nowhere near.
I have no clue what you just said.
I said, I don't know that page.
Can you check your slope? And also, did you tell me why we're shading here in that equation?
I got 18 points for this. I did this. And yeah, I did this one.
Do you have your other homework?
No, I said I don't know if it went.
Well, you need to find it.
I probably didn't do that. I know I didn't do it.
You gotta get that done too.
It's not really C.
Chris, where's your homework? Peyton, where's your... Keep it out. Yeah, keep it out so you can take notes. Okay, Devin, you got yours? Y'all, log into the laptops, get your homework out. Let's go. Alright, Layla, did you find yours?
I literally started right
Hey. Why are your lips
You need to check your
blue?
slope again.
I've been that nigga.
You didn't even hit the smurf.
Ah, boy, what the
What are you doing? Doing this. Good night. Good night. It's my birthday.
Wait, it's your birthday.
No. Happy
Kelsey,
birthday.
Kelsey, I permanently have your birthday memorized into my brain.
I don't. I already purged it from my mind.
Understand.
Oh,
I'm going to get a longer version.
100. For my birthday?
You at least saw
You earned it. It's not about whether you're... Say it again?
It's your birthday. We should get a little bit of a longer. Even if it's just 5 minutes.
Yeah, because I need to take pictures to post on my Instagram.
You need to post on Kenny's Rising Eagle Oilers.
Oilers?
Yeah, you need to.
Get it out.
It's my birthday.
Alright, so we got everyone. Gentlemen, get your homework out.
I got a question.
Sorry, I'm excited.
My computer got that thing.
Stop losing your homework.
Guess what?
No.
I'm 16 today.
Hey, guess what? Do you have your license?
No.
Hey, guess what?
read it yet.
I'll tell you
And
what to do.
I'm
I don't disagree
protecting.
with you on that.
I'm protecting y'all, so y'all should thank me.
Look,
Oh, trust me. I am.
I'm thankful.
I'm
Get one of those
extremely thankful.
Get one of those big yellow stickers and put crazy on board and just put it in the back of the book.
Put baby on board. P.S. She's also driving.
Shut up.
Speaking of baby driving, have y'all seen the movie Baby Driver?
Yeah.
Because, dude, that movie is so good.
You talking about Ted?
No, that's called Baby Driver.
Yeah, there's a movie called Baby Driver, and it is fantastic.
I wonder what his actual name is. No way it's Baby.
You don't think so? I'm pretty sure it is Baby. You know?
They,
I love that name. Don't
There
you?
is no way that someone like, all right, just randomly Mr. Baby. Hey, Mr. Baby, come here.
That's a joke, Peggy. I'm pretty sure you're right. Hey, Mr. Living, can you go make copies of this? We ran out.
Yeah, can you get cookies too?
You want me to get cookies while making copies?
Yes.
Yeah, veto that. We got math to learn. Sorry.
No.
Okay, let's get started.
So much better if we have.
Cool, and so if she brings cookie tomorrow, we can't eat them in class.
No, you can eat them during enrichment.
Wow.
Wow.
We all have an understanding check to start on. They're in my pocket now.
No.
Okay. What?
Ah, I forgot about that.
You should put like a bonus question that says, what is the day of
let's
Kelsey's
go
birthday?
You should put
Okay.
a bonus question.
So, I want to point this out. First off, we got to get better about taking notes. Please hear me very, very clearly on this. When you take notes and you look at homework, do not just copy down the answers. If you copy down the answers but you do not understand where they came from, can you use that to help you study for the future?
Yes.
Thank you. No! Like fundamentally, if you do not take the time to write down, hey, this is what this thing means, you can't learn from it. Okay? So, that means Chris, we need pencil in hand. Devin, we need pencil in hand. Actively ready to write. If you want to put on your jacket so that you stay warm, but then we got to be ready to write. Okay, so I saw some people get this right, I saw some people get this wrong. Fundamentally, what was the problem asking us to do here? We got to learn how to pay attention to this.
To find
Find the point that's between both, also find which one's steeper.
Calculate the slope.
Bro, find the point between?
Or you know what I meant.
I don't know what you meant. Shelby, what did you say?
Alright.
Oh,
I
calculate the
said
slope.
that.
You mean the first three words up here.
I said that.
Language matters. Does anyone know what the point is that's between 2 points?
Point of
Intersection.
intersection.
That's the point where two functions intersect.
Yeah, what's
No, I'm talking about the
intersection?
point that is in the middle of two other points. You might not have studied this yet.
Interesting.
It's called a midpoint.
I said that.
You're a liar! Okay, so it's called the midpoint. We don't have midpoint. It's literally slope. We know this. Now, this is something I want to make sure you clearly understand. Whenever it says calculate the slope, where should you start?
With the calculator.
No, okay, you need rise and you need run, so you're referring to
With the slope.
this, right? M equals rise divided by run. Start there. As soon as I see calculate the slope, I'm starting here.
The rise of the rune.
Okay? Now, one thing I want to caution you against is I've seen multiple students doing this recently, which they may not have this written out, but they're trying to do y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. Have you ever seen me work out slope this way in class?
Nope, that looks cool.
It is cool, but there's a reason why I have not done this.
Yeah, let's go.
'Cause it
Wait,
don't work.
what? Oh.
Okay? One, a lot of students go, man, that looks confusing, that's really complicated. I want you to think about it. What's easier, rise divided by run or all of this?
Oh, right.
Probably not all of that.
Probably not all that. Rise divided by run. Rise divided by run will always calculate the slope for you, and it is easier to work with. 1. 2. A lot of students flip the y2 and the y1, but then they don't flip the x2 and x1, and it throws everything off, and so they get a slope that's close, but it's still wrong, when they could just do rise divided by run. 3. I've seen students pair up the x and y's together instead of y2 minus y1. That is more difficult than it has to be.
Can you let him slip him?
He's got the keys.
Oh, okay.
So I want to point this out because this does help us. Well, first off, before we get there, I need the rise and the run. What are some mathematical representations that can help me get my rise and get my run?
Table and the graph.
Horrible.
So if you weren't sure about that, this is the note that you should be making to yourself. Tables and graphs can help get rise and run. Boom. Now you're really far along. This is how we take notes. Right? I had to write this on the board so that you knew to write it down, but doesn't this explain what's happening over here?
Yes.
The explanation is the most important part. If all you do is write down the work and write down the answers without understanding why, you're going to be up the creek without a paddle. And that is not a place you want to be.
Up the creek, I'm sure. I'm done with
Surprisingly, I'm not surprised by that at all.
At a birthday without
well,
a
it wasn't
cake.
really like the motor goal part, basically.
The same idea though, right?
Yeah.
Okay?
At a birthday with no cake.
Yeah. It's a weird correlation, but my wife actually went to a funeral. It's kind of sad for a friend of hers, not her friend who died, but her friend's mother died. They forgot to dig the hole for the casket.
How do you forget?
Are
that?
you?
Are you serious?
Straight up.
That's the
Yeah.
point
Well,
of the funeral.
They
To bury.
apparently the guy who digs their holes got fired that week and then never filed the paperwork, and they never dug the hole. Same concept though, but let's get back to the math. And that just made me think about that.
Funeral without a hole.
What happened?
They did the funeral that they could inside, like the memorial for her and things like that, and then everybody just left.
They should have burned her and made her into a crystal.
What?
I will say this, I don't know why you went that route with it. I have zero desire to be buried. I do want to be cremated.
I want to be cremated
Why?
and shot in a cannon off the Gulf of Mexico.
Wow.
The things that go through Shelby's head. My wife and I want something more simple, like they can use your ashes as part of the earth that they plant tree seeds in, and so you can become a tree.
Oh yeah.
Anyways, Matt, sorry. Okay, so rise and run, we need that, right? So we can use tables and graphs, because when I look at this table right here, -3, 7, -5, 17, to go from 7 to 17, what am I doing?
Plus 10.
7 plus 10 is 17, isn't it?
Yes.
Now, I do want to point this out. It should hopefully be easier with 7 and 17, but when we get with other numbers, sometimes it's more complicated, but can you pick up a calculator?
Yes. It says calculate.
So if you were to do 7 plus 10 in a calculator, would you get 17?
Yes.
It's a very simple check, right?
Yeah, but if you don't know that, go back to second grade.
But, okay, thank you for being rude about it. But when it gets to be bigger numbers, sometimes we need a calculator.
Yes, true,
Okay?
true.
So, when I go look at -3 to -5, what am I doing?
2 minus 2.
-2.
-2, right? We
Yeah.
do want to notice we're subtracting 2. But again, this is a very clear case where someone might be tempted to do +2. So if you were to do -3 plus 2 in the calculator, you would get -1 and be like, ooh, that's not supposed to be a +2. Let's try -2. That works, right? So it's just a simple thing to check. Now, if I'm looking in the y direction, is that my rise or my run?
Right.
That's a rise, isn't it?
Yes.
Y direction, that's a rise. Okay, so notice, and that's something you should note to yourself. Hey, the y is associated with a rise. See, nobody's taking notes on that, but that is something we should be noting. Great job, Kelsey.
I'm just kidding. I already know.
In a similar way, if I'm looking in the x direction, that's going to be a run.
Yeah. I hate
Yeah.
Run
So now I
sucks.
know slope is rise divided by run. I have my rise, I have my run. 10 divided by -2, which is -5. Done. All right, that's all it is. Do we feel comfortable being able to do that tonight for an accuracy check on slope for 3 and 4?
Yeah.
Yes.
No.
Yes?
No. No.
Then get good, Corell. You got 25
Say
minutes in your
Corel, I can tutor you.
Okay.
for your birthday.
I'm not doing
It's a true
that.
story. Okay, now one thing I do want to point out is this formula does work. I want you to notice if I substitute 17 in, what is 17 minus 7?
You said what?
10.
10.
Substitute 17 in, substitute the 7 in, 17 minus 7.
10.
So does that work?
Yeah.
Heck yeah. It's just a lot of people mess up with this formula when you could just make a quick table. That's easier.
Yeah.
Does it say simplify? No.
Would you not want your kids to have it? Why don't you want to be a tree?
Oh my gosh, get back to
What
math.
good am I doing my kids buried in the ground?
No,
I'm just taking up more land, and we don't have infinite amount of land on this earth. Make me a tree.
It's
I
actually
mean the
kinda
ashes.
Huh?
Would you not want the kids to have the
cool.
ashes?
'Cause you could
What's the
dip,
point
like,
of my ashes? Like,
I-
They can remember you.
I'm-
They gonna remember
I'm
you
sorry,
as a
you're
tree.
right. If they don't have my ashes, they'll never remember me.
So
I'm
they
not
can
gonna lie.
remember you as
I
a
think
tree.
that's, and that's just me personally. I feel like it'd be a little creepy having like some dead dude's ashes in my house.
Ew, yes.
I don't want. Some people are into that. Good for them.
what
That
if
just ain't
I
me.
get confused?
Okay. Now, I do want to point out: is a table the only method you can use to get
No,
rise and run?
no.
What else am I using?
Oh, graph.
A graph, right? So you can do this as well. I will point out we're doing with 12 and negative 37. Maybe with 4, negative 3, I would do it by hand, but I'm definitely not doing that by hand. I use Desmos, right?
Desmos a cheat.
Yeah.
I don't use Desmos.
I don't believe you.
I use my head.
And if you don't use Desmos, you a scrub.
Yeah.
We should be using stuff like Desmos. It helps, okay? So you can see your rise and your run, but again, if personally, it's more efficient to just use a table. I just wanted you to see that you can use Desmos. Now, a student earlier today said, well, Mr. Kinney, I was struggling with this a little bit because I wasn't sure which point to put first.
Yeah, me too. I didn't know how to do that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Let's check. And I will say this, if you ever have that issue, couldn't you try it both ways and see what happens?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
That's
To go from 12 to 4, what am I doing?
So you're minusing. I mean, yeah.
Subtracting how much? 8?
Yeah.
You can use calculators, to help you with that, but minus 8. Desiree, any guesses about negative 37 to negative 3? What's happening there? It's being added by how much?
35.
Make a guess.
35.
35? Y'all okay trying 35?
34.
So let's try negative 37 plus 35. What is that? Someone,
34.
somebody put it into a calculator, put it into Desmos. What is negative 37 plus 35?
Negative 2. I'm doing something wrong.
-2.
Negative 2.
No,
So is it plus 35?
No, it's supposed to be what Payne said.
Okay, so try plus 34. Is that negative 3?
Yep.
Yes, I said that.
Okay, I know, but I wanted everyone to see this idea of like, can you just play around with it a little bit?
No.
Yes, like you don't have to know this off the top of your head. It's that simple. Okay, so then again, how do we always calculate slope? It's what divided by what? Rise divided by run. So Layla, which one's my rise? The negative 8 or the 34? The 34, okay? So Chris, why does Layla think that 34 is my rise? You can look back over here if you need some help with it. You don't know? I mean, if we're rising, look, we're going up and down, right? Which variable is up and down? Is X up and down or is Y up and down? So she picked the Y as her rise, right? Which, Julia, that means that the run is the negative 8. Which again makes sense because which variable is run?
X.
The X. So there's that answer, right? So let's say we flip it. This time I'm adding 8, but I'm subtracting 34. So did it matter which direction I put those points into the table?
No.
We good with that idea?
Yes.
Any questions there? Ready to rock and roll?
No.
Too bad, Corona. You're the
Where are
only-
we rocking and rolling at?
To the rest of the math for the day.
Ew. Wish's birthday.
Okay, we should birthday. So, check your table. Make sure that you have this table correct. All right, you need this table for tonight. If you do not know where these values are coming from in the table, make sure you ask that. It's pretty straightforward.
What's the little size?
Say again, sir.
Feet under 20. What's that?
Right here?
Yeah.
That's a good question. Does anyone know what this symbol right here is? This little tick mark.
That's feet.
That's feet.
Yeah.
If you ever have like something like this, where it's 2 tick marks, that is,
What is that's inches.
that's inches.
We were supposed to do
So the single tick mark is feet, the double is inches, and I just put that instead of writing feet.
Yeah.
Yes, you always need your units there. Right?
I didn't know we were supposed to
It's
do
quadratic.
I didn't see that.
How did you know it was quadratic?
Because I'm smart. Oh, because it says feet squared, and because it's decreasing, then goes to the middle, and then decreasing.
Wait, so
I mean,
what is
increase, then
so it
decrease.
increases and then it
Decrease.
increases. No, those are great things to notice. I'm really glad you picked up on that, right?
Yeah.
We see that the area is increasing, then it's decreasing. That's quadratic, right? And then we see the square feet. It's got the exponent of 2. Those are details that we do want to notice.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
So if there's no negatives, it won't be a full parabola. Like, well, actually, never mind.
Actually, so I know what you're thinking about. This one would look something like this.
Oh, okay.
And so when you say not a full parabola, you mean it doesn't have that symmetry there? Yes, this one does. If it both increases and decreases, it'll have either that maximum or minimum. It's when it's either just increasing or just decreasing that you don't have both sides. Is that what you were thinking about? Good question. Really good question. Any other questions about any of this before you do tonight's homework, numbers 6 through 9 associated with this? Going once.
You got homework?
You're so funny. That was the most famous question. Because everybody knows the answer to that.
Alright, any questions?
No.
Once, twice. Oh, did you need it, Kevin?
Oh, I need Miss
Yeah.
Ken. Miss Ken, I need.
Come on, y'all. We gotta be moving quickly.
Yeah, I need it. Write it down right now.
I'm thirsty.
Shirley's trying to get that good teacher snap in there.
Ew, no, don't do that.
You don't like that?
No.
Alright, Mr. Lipton, let's rock and roll.
Alright, so we're going to be looking at 6.3 and 6.4 today, some more, so go ahead and have both of those out. So I think we all had the equations for 6.3 and 6.4, but we weren't sure if everyone really understood the equations. I'll
No,
give you a second
hey.
to pass these out.
Yeah, I was like, just
Yeah.
let them get their stuff out. And
We go
pass
about
this out.
6.3 and then he's giving you then 6.4.
3.4.
Why do we have 3.4?
Oh, I do got that.
Well, you're talking about the practice, we're talking about the task.
Yeah, the task.
Here's the 6.4 task. I have those, I'm passing them out for most of us. Except for those who aren't paying attention. They don't get it. Just gonna move on.
Okay, yeah. What's my mistake?
Chris and Devin, I never got your 6.4, so it's still in your notebook probably.
Oh, I'm sure.
Say again, sir?
No.
I mean, we worked on it last week and we worked on it on Tuesday. If you don't have a copy of it, let me know.
It's fun,
I mean, you missed those days of school
right?
when Chris was being a bad influence on you.
It's fun.
What? I'm just saying, y'all both missed the same days of school. It was a little sketchy.
You said what?
I said what I said.
Period.
They laughing.
Is that because they know it's true?
Yeah, I would,
Alright, so we're going to be looking at 6.3 and 6.4. So what we're going to do is, most of us had the equations for 6.3 and 6.4, but today we're going to see if we can explain what they are and how we got them. So first we're going to start with 6.3.
Huh?
You looking at them?
No, I was looking at him because he wasn't paying attention.
I'll pay attention. I got two I have to read.
Yeah, you know they look in the same direction unless you got, cross-eyed a little bit.
My brother has that.
Or lazy.
Or like,
My brother's cross-eyed.
it's not funny. It's just,
Oh my
just, you just take notes.
Well,
on
he's
6.4.
mean. Sleepy bird.
What's that?
6.3 from
What is
yesterday.
that?
This is 6.3.
It said it's graph.
Is that a graph?
It looks like a graph to me.
Yeah, it's a graph.
I go to this. Wait, give me that question just there, no.
This
What?
is 6.3, so this was Monday and yesterday.
There's so much writing we did.
Oh, it's my this one.
Oh, it's just a,
I will say this, you should probably label your graphs.
Is it right?
Yes.
6.3, this is the
Hey,
table
hey,
graph for
What?
6.3.
How you label graph?
What?
How you label graph?
Go to,
What?
How you
to
label the
3
graph?
bars.
You can
3
just title
bars
it.
at the top
Okay,
left.
which one is it, 6.3?
It didn't say nothing.
Then we are on
Say new branch.
6.3.
Okay.
Let me see.
This is our table, this is our graph for 6.3.
You already made one.
This,
Mine is on the question.
this, oh my gosh, for real? What have you done?
So, 6.3, what we're going to do today is we're going to look at the equations we found, and we're going to talk about inner groups and explain how we found the equations, what the equations mean. We'll make sure that you truly understand what we're doing before we get to the understanding check tomorrow. So, Shelby, can you tell me what recursive equation you found for 6.3, number 5?
Oh.
Guys, listen up.
Pay attention.
We're trying to find his graph. No, we're not.
It's right, we have it up here for you to look at.
I was trying to title it.
Because this one is slow.
Just save it and it'll give you an option to title it, or press the title of it, and you can
Press
title it.
the title.
So Shelby, what was the recursive equation for 6.3, number 5?
F of x equals f of x minus 1 plus 2, parentheses x minus 2, in parentheses plus 5. And the starting point was f of 1 squared.
Come on.
Thank you. Okay, Kelsey,
Yes.
you're paying attention. What was the explicit equation we found for 6.3, number 5?
It was n2 plus 2n.
N2 plus 2n. Into,
N squared. Sorry.
so y equals n squared plus 2n, or
That.
x squared plus 2x.
Yes.
So, what we're doing is in our groups, and I'll come around, based on your conversation and ask you questions, we want to be able to explain, both for the recursive and explicit, how we got that equation and what that equation means. So how did we get 2 times x minus 2 plus 5? Where did that come from? How did we get n squared plus 2n? These are the things we need to be talking about and taking notes on so that we understand how to do this again tomorrow. So that's what we'll be working on in our groups.
Wait, so this is our understanding check?
No, our understanding check is tomorrow. This is going to help you with the understanding check. Because we didn't feel like we were ready for it today. Any
What makes
questions?
you so feel ready for it tomorrow?
Well, Kelsey, you're spending the rest of today working on this, so you should hopefully be ready by tomorrow. And then maybe you study your notes tonight.
I got a question.
It's like.
Yep, what's your question?
Recursive f of 1 equals 3, that's starting point, right?
Yes, that is the starting point. That's
That's
correct.
what you earn.
Alright, if there are no more questions, go ahead and start talking with your group about these equations, how you got them, and what they mean, and then I'll just kind of listen to conversations and ask you some questions.
I worked on this